Thing pulled up. Hello, and welcome to episode 37 of the Cooler Guild. I am Coop Cooper, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host, Van Crisp.
Hello.
We are recording on Monday, June 9th, 2025. On today's episode, we'll be going over Reign's big, massive win over the WAVE, as well as our usual quick look around the league at other results, and perhaps a little bit of discussion about the U.S. Women's National Team friendlies. But first, some housekeeping.
The Cooler Guild is part of the Sounder at Heart podcast network. You can either listen to us on our public feed, or if you're a Sounder at Heart subscriber, on the private unified feed with the other podcasts on the network. If you'd like to become a subscriber, just visit our page at sounderatheart.com/the Cooler Guild. New subscribers get 10% off the normal rate, and you'll help support everything we're doing.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Busy week.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
My USLW team had a game on Saturday night, and then we play again on tomorrow night, Tuesday night.
Who do you play tomorrow?
Tacoma.
And you played
Tacoma.
2 times in a row? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We won 6-0, so that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, the girls are so good. They're a lot of fun.
That's good.
And they're all super nice.
Yeah.
There was a really funny moment. It was really hot at the game, and so we were had a hydration break, and one of our English players came over to the sideline, and a player handed her a cold red Gatorade. And she was like, "Oh, this tastes like a melted ice lolly." It's disgusting. And everybody just broke out laughing.
We didn't get your British accent.
I was not gonna try
Boo.
that. I know. Anyway,
cool.
Yeah, but it's been busy. How about you?
I don't know, not much. I've been getting ready for my trip to Minnesota soon. Been looking into. We were gonna go to the Blackheart, like I told you.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently Minnesota United's playing that evening.
Oh.
So I was hit up Mark Kastner, because he's out there, and
I know Mark.
Yeah,
we send each other stuff all the time.
Yeah, so I didn't realize I must have forgotten because the bar name did sound very familiar. There's a women's sports bar out there, so I think we're gonna go meet up and watch.
Is that a bar of their own?
Yeah. So that'll be cool to go check out because we're only in St. Paul, Minneapolis area for a day and a half or so. And then we're heading up to Duluth. But yeah, I was kind of hoping to go. I was thinking about considering going to the game in Chicago because the Reign are playing Chicago at Soldier Field that weekend. But I don't know. It's just a lot of traveling's stressful. So oh well. And I'm still having to get everything together at home because someone's staying at our house for the week watching Molly and the cat.
Nice.
So
Dana going to daycare?
Pet camp, but yes. It's technically the name is a pet camp. Yeah.
I guess it is an overnight thing.
Yeah.
So she's going to summer camp.
She is, and everyone really enjoys her there. I often go in there and people are like, "Oh, Dana's my favorite." And I'm not just saying that. So I think she enjoys it. She's got some if people are confused on why I send one dog away, it's because she's got some problems that she needs special attention sometimes with people because if you don't understand dogs, then things could turn bad and ugly. So, but she's a sweet girl for the most part. Anyways, we have a very fun game to get into.
Yeah, why don't you hop into the recap?
Let's get into the recap. On Friday night, Reign headed to San Diego to take on the Wave after having a week off from club play due to an international break. The starting lineup saw heavy rotation, giving a handful of younger, newer players the chance to step up against one of the league's top teams. Despite some fairly nervy moments for Seattle's defense, the first half ended goalless. In the second half, Seattle's own Sally Menti found the back of the net for the Reign with a fantastic goal to put the team up 1-0. San Diego answered back in the 75th minute with a Cascarino header. It looked like San Diego were about to take the lead, but Claudia Dickey had other plans, coming up with what should be save of the week after a shot from Cascarino at the top of the box. And then the ever-popular late goal scorer, Emeri Adames, nabbed the final goal of the game in the 88th minute with an oh-so-sweet left-footed shot to the top corner from the edge of the box, playing hero once again for the Reign, giving the team their 5th win of the season.
Woo!
So great.
I cried.
Yeah, I believe it. You seem to cry a lot whenever you text me.
It was a trying time.
I will say I didn't expect this game to go the way it did.
No.
Mostly because of the international stuff going on, and the travel and the starting lineup we had. And I guess I just severely underestimated how ready some of these players were to prove that they want to be in the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great. Love that for us.
Yeah, they really showed out. And two absolutely stunning goals.
Yeah. Someone did post an article that was like 2 goals from outside the box. And I was like, you rewatch them. Maybe they start shooting from outside the box, but they were both inside the box, the very, very edge of the box. But yeah,
I don't care. They were goals.
They were goals. I don't care either. But like they are, I think it was like a power rankings piece that I was reading, and they were like, you can't rely on goals from outside the box from Menti and Adames every week. And I was like, well, they weren't outside the box, so good news. I mean, they were bangers, but
also you don't get to 5th place as a fluke.
No, I mean, we're right in the thick of all of it, but we don't. You don't beat a team as good as San Diego and KC as a fluke.
Right.
Maybe one time fluke, but now we've proven we can keep up with those other teams. So,
should we
what?
Should we celebrate?
Yeah, let's pop open some celebratory drinks. So, because we haven't done a dub drink in a long time. I don't think we've done this one this year. Like,
no, we celebrate. Oh, maybe we haven't. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, I felt like this was deserving.
Yeah, absolutely. So, cheers. See how good this beer is after it's been sitting in the fridge forever.
It's a King Crispy that I brought down to Coop.
I don't really drink Pilsners, in my defense. I don't think it tastes fine.
Yeah, good.
Doesn't taste disgusting. All right, so we got some notable stats. This is kind of sweet. Laura Harvey became the first head coach in NWSL history to reach 250 regular season games, and no other NWSL coach has ever surpassed 200.
Yeah, incredible. I will say I did rip all of these from the post game in
did see that.
Rain Media Center.
I did see that, but like, a lot of people don't read those. You listen to the podcast because you're not a reader, right? Or maybe you just do it all. This is like the Cliff Notes, but in audio format.
Yeah, I mean, it's fully available to the public if you ever go into the Rain Media Center. There's some cool stuff in there, and you can like find some fun stats. So yeah,
those people are putting it out there for us to tell you all.
Yep.
So here we are.
And another fun stat: Emeri Adames scored the Reign's game-winning goal in the 87th minute. It's her 3rd career goal, all of which have come after the 70th minute.
Yeah, that's great.
That's clutch.
Yeah. She feels she knows when we need one, and she gets it. So, and not only did that she did for this game, but she started and finished out the game like this too.
Yeah, she has a motor, kind of like Meza. Mm-hmm. She was constantly pressuring in the center backs and just running around.
Yeah,
youth kid stuff. And then Dickey had 3 saves on the night, and she moved up to 3rd in club history in saves with 111, just passing Fallon Tullis-Joyce, who has 110.
Who's above Haley Kopmeyer and Hope Solar above her, right?
I didn't look, honestly.
I believe that's what I saw on the info. So
yeah, because I know they did like a little graphic at some point.
Yeah. Did you want to do the other ones too?
Sure, why not? I'll just roll into them.
Yeah, let's do it.
So with Fishlock's assist on the Adames game winner, it was her first assist of the season and 29th of her career. The most in club history and the 5th most all time in league history.
29th, huh?
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been more.
Me too.
Not to be a downer, but I guess it just feels like I wonder if like if they ever started like counting like second assists. I bet that would make it look more accurate to what I feel like I've seen over the years. Yeah,
and especially with rain goals in this current season, it's usually come from a series of passes.
Exactly, yeah.
And so there's always kind of that. That's why stats can be weird. And this was Sally Menti's first ever start and her 2nd career game.
Super rad.
So
super rad. And she's from Seattle. Like,
I know there was a Crossfire shout out on the on the broadcast.
Yeah, crazy. Love
Literally
that for her.
Shout out. Anyway.
All right. So positives that we got.
They scored more than 1 goal.
All caps.
That's what we've been asking for.
Yeah.
Finally happened.
They needed to, because I feel like San Diego don't fuck around when they get going.
No, they don't. And I felt it was coming, like it was kind of like rolling into like curse territory. Yeah. And I didn't want to fall into that.
Yeah. That's fair. How many goals have we scored this season now?
We need to start making a list of things we should look up before we record.
Well, part of this is like we're nerding out as we record this too, right? Like
100%.
I'm not going to know all of our, like, I'm not going to know 100% of our talking points when we do this. We have scored 11. Still not great. If I look at everything, the only teams that we have scored more goals than is Chicago, Utah, and Houston, and those are just by 1 goals for Utah and Houston, and we're in 5th place somehow. So wild.
Totally wild.
What other positives did you notice? Did you have?
I'm really enjoying this kind of evolution of Jordan Bugg's game.
Yeah.
I pointed it out in the last podcast. Just her distribution when she's able to get higher up in the field and get the ball into dangerous areas and help players get forward. I think it really adds a more positive spin on that kind of, we're not going backwards as much.
Yeah, totally.
And you get Jordan Bugg up there and being able to like kind of drop these dimes. It makes the team a lot more dangerous.
And she's kind of saucy.
Yeah.
Like she can kind of dribble around people in a way that I just didn't, I guess, appreciate. Because I mean, we see her do those kinds of moves in the back, but now she's doing it with defenders on her while trying to get the ball forward.
It's really great. And I think that, as highly as we speak of her, there's room for improvement and she can only get better and better and better.
Yeah.
And this is just an incredible kind of realization that like she's also capable of this.
Yeah.
It adds so much. It makes her such a dynamic player if she can keep adding these different strengths.
Yeah, I think I don't see a reason why she's not going to eventually earn a starting spot or at least some sort of rotational spot on the U.S. Women's National Team. I don't think that they're playing Sonnet in her best position when they're playing her back there. And I think her pairing with Bug and Girma is just a dream.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to what her future holds and all that.
It was also really fun to see like all the the Bug signs that people were holding because she's from San Diego.
I know
she trained with the Wave.
I know,
and they passed up on her
for whatever reason.
Or
we just knew and took advantage and made her realize what a good role she could have in Seattle. So
that was one thing that I really took from the game. And we kind of have here in the notes the defense as a whole.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, McLaren,
really good game. I had noted about, she also had a saucy moment, which I don't know if I've seen something like that from her before. It was near the end of the first half. She was like facing pressure. I think there was like 3 people coming at her kind of, and she kind of just like, I don't know, like under pressure and all that stuff. She kind of just like dinked the ball away from them and like turned out of it. And I got real nervous at that moment because the first half had a lot of kind of stuff that made me think I didn't know if we were going to get out of there okay. And I think because of the back line and what they were doing everything to hold off San Diego, it worked perfectly. Frustrating them, doing stuff like that was great.
Yeah, it was definitely, there were some nervy moments, but I think kind of like in the KC game, it was the fact that those nervy moments didn't cause big mistakes.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think there's some growth there, which is nice.
Bend, don't break.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what you need to see from a defense because you're never going to be able to shut down every single team every time and, completely limit stuff. So like if you can take on pressure and let another team have possession like they did in this game and shut down their key players, that's going to get you really far in this league.
Yeah, and I think that it really says a lot about the defending, from the forwards to all the way back to Claudia Dickey, that they had so much possession, and Claudia Dickey only had to make 3 saves.
Yeah.
One, mind you.
One absolutely ridiculous save.
Mind you, is just like awe-inspiring.
Yeah, but possibly save of the year. It could be up there for that at least. Should be.
It's a good save. And it's if you're going to win close games like this, your goalkeeper usually has to come up with one thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, rolling into Dickey. She's also a huge positive from this game. San Diego had scored in the first half for 6 games straight, and she kept that from happening.
Mostly, I mean, the back line was a big part of that, but yeah.
And again, we'll talk about this in the negatives, but no goals given up in the run of play.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the goal, there's nothing she could have done about it. So
it was a really good header.
Yeah. But the hilarious thing was after she made that ridiculous save, they hit the smoke button for the pillars behind the goal.
Yeah, they thought that was in. They thought that was in for sure.
It was actually pretty surprising and like pretty lucky that it didn't hit off of her and go in.
Oh, I know. I put that in my notes. I was just like, LMAO. That almost went in though off her back.
Yeah, I got real lucky there.
Yeah. Other positive I had, we saw a lot of different people starting because of this international bullshit with having to play on Friday and a bunch of people traveling from like Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So notably I put Menti and Adames. Obviously, Adames played very well. Played the whole game.
Yeah,
it's funny because I had pointed this out. I think it was a few games ago when we were discussing why like Adames isn't starting.
Oh yeah, we were kind of thinking, well, maybe it's this.
I literally said that, and a lot of times I feel like I'm talking out of my ass because I didn't play soccer like people do who usually. I
feel like it was an educated guess. I mean, because just knowing Laura Harvey and the way she plays, it just made sense. That seemed like the only thing that was stopping her. But the point that I was making is it seemed like Adames back then, or was it like a couple weeks ago, maybe more than that? We were talking about Adames not starting, and I said like there's a pretty good chance that she's not starting because Laura Harvey's not seeing what she wants to on the defensive side from Adames, because she expects every player to put in that effort on the other side. Not that Adames doesn't try to do that, but it's part of her game that she needed to improve. And as Laura Harvey had pointed out in the presser, that the way that Adames plays, and because she's so young, she's maybe never had to really develop that part of her game as much because she's just so fast and so technically good. Yeah, she's just been so dominant offensively that she hasn't needed to really perfect that part. Yeah,
so this kind of gives me some hope and encouragement, hopefully, that we'll see some more from Adames as far as starting and kind of maybe even finishing games out and getting her more comfortable with that, because she is a very, very lethal player to have on your team, and if we can get her to score some goals that aren't late as well.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a great day when she scores a goal and it's not after the 70th minute.
Yeah. And then Sally Menti, I mean, came out of nowhere kind of for us, but based on comments from others, it sounds like everyone's kind of known the talent she has, but just rips an absolute banger. And she came in and didn't look nervous at all, to me at least. She was taking on challenges. She ended up getting a yellow card. Which, like, I've seen her, put in some grit into the, this performance, and they were not playing an easy team.
No, they're not an easy team to play against.
I didn't think San Diego was going to be good this year, but just because I thought with all the changes that they were still kind of working with, and the chemistry just kind of was lacking last year, it's hitting now for them. And kind of like how Reign have been performing this year, when they have a really big challenge, they step up. They truly stick to the game plan. The focus is completely there. And the fact that these players who don't usually start were able to do that was just a joy to see.
Yeah, I mean, and it just speaks to the confidence that their teammates and the coaching staff and everybody around them gives them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when you're able to kind of go to the depths of your bench and pull out a winner. Granted, I will say this, there was marked improvement when they made subs.
Yeah.
And that's something that kind of worries me, but also doesn't, because we were able to hold them.
Yeah.
But there is that kind of, okay, well, they weren't really productive until those moves were made. But it is nice to see, deep bench players start a game and hold a team off until you can get some, backup in.
Yeah, for sure. Any other positives you want to hit on?
No, I just really loved this game.
Yeah, it was a really nice way to start the lovely weekend that we had with weather.
Mm-hmm.
Just put me in a good mood.
Yeah, until now when I'm upstairs here recording this and I'm sweating.
Negatives. Mike Watts.
He made a comment. Did you catch this? He made a comment during the game when he talked about like how hard refereeing is, and he's like, and that's what they say about announcing.
I think he's been listening. Someone's been telling him about our podcast.
But it's like, yeah,
I don't disagree.
It must be really hard because you can't do it.
Well, I don't think you can. Yeah, I think there. I wouldn't say. I don't want to be too harsh, but like, I just think that I do think commentating's an art form. And I think that, like, to me, I just want to see or hear, I guess, more care and effort put into it. Doing Taylor Swift song titles, that doesn't speak effort to me.
It's just the volume and the cadence and the shouting.
The shouting is really something.
Pulling stats out of your butt 12 times that don't mean anything, and then talking about random stuff while the game's being played.
Yeah. Focus on the game. I don't need to hear other stuff. I will say he did get Mezza's name right.
Yeah, finally.
So, like I said, maybe he's listening to our podcast or someone's telling him he got our memo, which I'm fine with. Like, I say these things in hopes that these things improve. I'm not, like, out to get anyone except for maybe the Portland Thorns.
Yeah, but exactly. Like, with all the hate I laid on Claudia Dickey last year, I really just wanted her to get better.
Yeah.
I am all for praising her now. Mike Watts, if you get better, I will sing your praises.
Yeah, because it's not like he hasn't, like, there's moments where he doesn't know the players as well as he should, but, like, he has been around the league a long time. I think he has skills that
just stop yelling at me.
Yeah, I don't want to be yelled at, which is funny because I was in the comments of watching some highlights from the weekend, and I sent it to you. The comment was, that screaming commentator again. And, like, you didn't even need to ask who it was because you knew who it was.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably being a little too mean, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm here to try to make the NWSL. I want to see it be a really good product, and these kinds of things I think need to change.
Yeah, he's just not it.
Okay, game related stuff. Negatives. Goal. We had a goal. The goal that we gave up was on a corner kick, right after Maria Sanchez subbed on, which is so funny because I had said to Alex, I said, "Oh no, Maria Sanchez is subbing on," and then I was like, "Oh no, Maria Sanchez just assisted a goal as she subbed on."
That is
what
kind of
there.
I mean, it was just bad defending. That set piece defending and cross defending. And there was even a cross that came through in the first half where they left like two players wide open on far post.
Yeah.
And it kind of just fortunately bounced around.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, God, thank God that happened, because otherwise we would have been SOL, you know?
Yeah. It was very, very, I was scared.
You're not getting beat in the run of play, which is great. And I think that's a very, something that the defense can be very proud of.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta start, and we didn't have Heidema in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously her ability to use her head is a huge positive. I'm not saying
set pieces and stuff like
this.
Not
saying that maybe it would have prevented this goal, but it's one of those things where you got to figure out, okay, well, if you can't get the ball marking this player on this side, maybe you want to rearrange yourself, know where the run's going.
It was a really good header, so I will say that.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, I mean, they got scored on, which has happened this year, obviously. But unlike other games this year, they've been able to come back and score another goal.
Yeah.
But that's just something I noticed during the game is like, okay, we got to maybe figure out how to be a little bit more comfortable when crosses and corners are coming in.
Other negative I had put down, depth at center back. I mostly put this down because Lou Barnes got a yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And I know we can kind of switch the formation for sure, but like I do think if we have like an injury or someone gets suspended for yellow card accumulation or someone gets a red card or something like that, I'm just a bit nervous about what we're gonna be looking like back there.
I think it's a realistic concern, but also I think when you've got a player, I mean, you've got Jordan Bugg and you've got McLaren.
Yes.
So if you're paying the 5 back, right, it's McLaren, Bugg, and Lou. But I think that you've got players like Shea Holmes that could slide into there. Emily Mason could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's maybe something I'd like to see try.
Exactly.
And I think maybe, we need to start winning games by more than one goal so that maybe these changes can be tried.
Yeah, but sure.
I think it's a legitimate concern. And I also think similarly that we might be a little light there, but mostly just in current experience. not because we don't have people that can't do it.
Yeah, I think for me, it might just be a matter of seeing them get more minutes in those positions for me to feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's understandable.
The last thing I had put down was the ref getting in the way. Which, it was so funny because the very first 10 minutes, Alex was just like, this ref is really in the way. And I wasn't really noticing. And then I, sure enough, was like, what the fuck, he's getting in the way. And then shortly after, he the ball hit him.
Yeah.
And then on our goal, he's scrambling to get out of the way. Don't know really much we could do about that, but I was like, this ref hopefully is gonna go watch back the film, because that's I have seen this kind of happen with a few other refs this season.
But was he really in the way, or was he close enough not to miss a dumb call?
Yeah.
How many dumb calls were in this? How many dumb big referee mistakes were made in this game?
Yeah, I mean that's another way of looking at it, but yeah. I don't know. I just feel like if the players kind of have to work around it at moments.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stay out of the way, and there's a way to do it. I think that when you're noticing it, it's a problem.
Yeah. Anyways, that was the last negative I had put down. Do you have anything else?
No, I think I mostly took positives out of this game.
For sure.
And it was nice to see, kind of a different team take control and, like you said earlier, be confident and take on the number 2 team in the league and come out with a win.
Yeah, and now they're not number 2 anymore.
They sure aren't.
We helped with that.
Trendsetters.
That's right.
Thank you for listening to the Sounder at Heart Podcast Network, which now includes No Sarietes, Lobbing Scorchers, and the Cooler Guild. We've been independent since August of 2023, but need your support to make sure it continues. Although this podcast is free, it's only made possible by your continued support. Memberships start as low as $25 a year, which not only helps make podcasts like this one happen, but also gets you access to everything we produce. If you're able to support us at higher levels, starting at $75 a year, you gain access to a host of other perks, most notably entry into our members-only Discord, where the smartest, funniest, and most engaged commenters share their thoughts and ideas. To find out more, just visit sounderatheart.com and click the subscribe button in the top right corner. Thanks for listening.
So the post-match pressers, they had Sally Menti and Lou Barnes. There was kind of an overarching theme. There were a couple with both press conferences with the players and Laura, but there was a lot of just the players, Laura, all thought how ridiculous it was that people were all over the country, all over the world, from a Tuesday game to supposedly be available for a Friday match. That's just insane to me.
We talk about player health and safety, and the league says they want to put that number 1. They're not doing that when they do shit like this.
No, it's not like they're not planned. This is the most planned thing that you do.
Yeah, everyone knows that this last game is this Tuesday or whatever, and these Friday night games are kind of stupid anyways. For many times to make them so regular for a lot of teams sucks for attendance.
It's terrible
stuff. So the fact that they did it with this, I just feel knowing the league is not, the people at the top of the league are not making themselves look good.
Yeah, so Lou said wild players have to travel from countries like Wales and Germany and then have to play 2 days later. We train for a week without half of the team.
Isn't there studies starting to show too with ACL tears and travel maybe being related?
I don't know about that. I just think it's known that overextending, any part of your body for huge competitive matches so close together is suboptimal.
For sure. There was a bunch of other stuff that they kind of talked about. Lou talking about how this is the fastest rebuild that she's ever seen a team do, and the fact that they're doing it so well, that's encouraging. She also said she cried for both of the goals.
Same girl.
She was so proud of these players showing up and doing the thing, seeing everything that she's gone through over the years to still be on the field and playing with them. That's just that. Yeah, I would be emotional for sure too.
Yeah, I think that she's kind of realizing that she might be passing the torch, and that's got to be difficult as a player.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see her and in that presser together. And Menti was mentioning that she, coming out of college, she had an injury. So she was doing some rehab for a while and wasn't able to be in preseason with the team. And so to kind of be where she's at right now is it just such a good testament to how good she probably is. Yeah,
we'll see if they're, I guess I'll just bring this up with the Laura comments, but Laura had talked about with Menti that they had a plan for her short term to go they signed her short term and they planned for her to go on a loan.
Yeah, because she's only signed through the end of June.
Yeah, so they told her, or Laura Harvey told her, change the plan. This game certainly didn't hurt her chances of getting some new contract or something like that to stay with the team, which I'm excited about. Because if we have a player like that, I mean, it's no secret we've had issues scoring.
Yeah.
To see someone that hungry and being able to take a shot like that is great. Sounds like she took notes from the sideline at one point for not taking a shot earlier in the game.
It's kind of fun. I was just thinking about this. It's really funny to me. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's an interesting thing. Our bangers from outside the box or close to outside the box.
Edge of the box, yeah.
Have pretty much all been youngsters.
Or, yeah, in their first goals a lot of times.
So... I mean, I'm glad those players are inspired with that confidence, but at the same time, like, why the fuck isn't anybody else doing that?
True.
Why isn't anybody else taking these opportunities to, like, try something?
Yeah.
So, if that's the way we're going to score goals, that's the way we're going to score goals. Sure, we need to be creating more dangerous opportunities and not relying on this sort of having bangers every week, but at the same time, like, why not create that opportunity?
Yeah, I don't care if that's like becomes a part of our game. I feel like we see that become part of the game in a lot of European teams.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always happen over here. I would say Centnor's trying to change that narrative. So, like, why not start with us? Maybe make a team of players that are willing to shoot, because that's the thing, shooters shoot, right? And I want to keep that mentality going.
Right, and when you have players like Maddie Darlene and Lynn Biadolo, players that can really be quick and clean stuff up if it doesn't work out or if it pings off the bar,
have them ready.
Just gets into that dangerous position, they can be ready and they can take advantage of it.
For sure.
So I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, I don't think so either.
But it was just funny. I was just thinking about that and I was like, oh yeah, it's been Bug, Adames, Menti.
Yeah, fine by me. Bug was so crazy.
Anything else you got from the Lou Barnes Menti presser?
No. I mean, I kind of talked about Laura and her comments on Menti.
Did you see the pin she was wearing?
I did. It was nice. She had a little pride flag pin. Laura just talked about how the game plan was to frustrate them and to hurt the team in transition. Executed it perfectly. And it was on the broadcast. It was funny because it was right before San Diego scored. It was just talking about how, like, if the Rain pull us off, this will be an absolute masterclass of Laura Harvey. Granted, they gave up the goal, but they still got in their goal. So
it seems to be that when they are able to execute the game plan.
Yes.
And obviously, right, you have to have a good game plan.
Yes.
And especially coming up against these teams that are performing very, very well in the league, you have to find a way to disrupt their flow. And they were able to do that. And I think she was talking about, moving forward, the team needs to be solid defensively and good in transition, which they did have a couple opportunities in transition. But she said they're going to use the summer to hone in on being better on the ball. Like, okay, it's summer.
But we have like a month off.
I know.
So that's what's going to be the focus for the month off. And I think that's important that she brings that up, because I do think we can see that is a weakness. I do think that this game that we play, I think it could be sustainable if everyone's able to execute. It's just a matter of, can we do it in the playoffs in higher pressure situations?
Well, I think it's just about expanding on what we currently have, right?
Yeah.
So you've already got that as a really solid part of your game plan. Have them score as little goals as possible. We're doing a fairly good job at that. But then on the opposite end, you've got to, as much as I talk about, it didn't matter that we had 36% of the possession or whatever. It does matter. And in other games, it will matter. And so I think that just building on that solid defense that the team already has and just adding other strengths, like maybe taking more shots, maybe figuring out how to get that ball slotted in to the penalty spot. Somebody can be running in on it. Like, we haven't scored off crosses. Like, that used to be a huge thing for the team back in the original Huerta days, with Pino and everybody. We got such good crosses in, and that just does not seem to be a part of the Reigns game plan. Maybe not game plan, but like just not a strength that the team has. And I'd like to see that be incorporated more. especially if we get Huerta back and that becomes a possibility.
And if Adames is capable of starting in Laura's eyes, I guess.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, and Laura also went off about, if the league wants to keep players safe and if that's their main goal, then they can't be doing this kind of crap.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Anything else you want to add on to the match before we get into cooler player of the match?
No, I think I'm good.
All right.
The cooler player of the match is brought to you by the Doctor's Office, a great little 12-seat bar on Capitol Hill. The owner is a big fan of the rain and is proud to be our first sponsor. We had a discussion about this.
We tend to have a discussion unless it's
really clear.
Well, I mean, I guess sometimes the discussion is it Meza or someone else? Meza didn't start, so yeah, we weren't sure. I don't know. I think there's a lot of standouts for this match, but I think ultimately, and sometimes the player of the match does match cooler player of the match. And when you get a game winner in the fashion that she did, I think this week we had decided and agreed upon
Emeri Adames.
Yes. Congrats.
And for me, it was not only the game-winning goal, but just her tenacity throughout the entire match.
Yeah.
Pressing hard, even when the goalkeeper is having the ball, and you're like, just save your energy. And she's all, no. And I think it just adds a little spice to the team when you've got somebody working hard and like that.
She's a fun player to watch.
Yeah,
it would be
like
nice
her
to be able to get her on the field more. So I'm hopeful that this game is kind of something that kind of jump starts that a bit more.
Catalyst, if you will.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Emeri.
Thanks again to our sponsor, the Doctor's Office. The Doctor's Office is the best place to grab a drink before or after a rain match. Book your appointment today and go try their Beachcomber Paloma. Cinnamon, guava, and butter enliven a smooth, refreshing tequila drink with beach vibes, rich flavors, and a positive outlook on life. Check out their Instagram at TDO Seattle, or better yet, go drink there in person.
Cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
Clink. Other NWSL results. Did you watch most of these games?
I can't remember which game did I watch. I watched the Bay, most of the PDX Bay game. That was the main one. The weather was so nice this weekend that I really wasn't trying to watch too much on TV. But I did go watch the highlights from all of them.
I was busy from 1 p.m. Saturday till midnight, so...
Yeah, I did go watch all of the highlights. It was a fun weekend, I would say, for NWSL.
Yeah, the Louisville-Utah game. So Louisville won 3-2. And Mazingo, this is her third straight game with a goal. So Utah's got something to look forward to there.
If they can get out of the bottom.
Right. Well, it's hard to do that when Emma Sears is just absolutely slapping bangers. That's goal of the week for me.
That goal was so fucking good. So good. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's so good. It did seem like it was a close game, and I thought it could have gone anyway, but Utah got a red card, 73rd minute. It was a double yellow. And then there was a game winner in the 85th, floating header. The keeper just couldn't. I don't know do you think her position? Did you see that one?
It wasn't her positioning, it was her footwork.
Okay. Yeah, just trying to reach back and get it, but there was no chance from where she was at to get it.
Well, she was kind of falling by the time that she got there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did watch this game, the Gotham KC game. It was funny because when I got to the USLW game, the players were talking about it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of chatter about this game. Part of me thinks, this isn't, if you look up how karma actually works, I guess maybe this is how karma works. Because we didn't ever talk about the CONCACAF Champions Cup or whatever league, whatever they call it for us. But there was some shenanigans from Gotham on that penalty that they got from Sonnet. People were laughing about it. I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was kind of fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
But I feel like Gotham's kind of got what's been coming to them for some of those things.
Yeah, it was just all kind of a bit confusing. So Casey scored 2 early goals from Michelle Cooper and Chewinga. So it was okay, Gotham's going to have to come back and fight to come back into this match. And it seemed like every time they'd go forward or try and get back into the game, it was oh, nope, Astaire was offside. But was she really involved in the play? And then there was a handball that I feel like in 75% of other games they would have called a handball and penalty, but I don't know, their view of what a handball is in this league is so convoluted that you're well, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
So they got one back, but yeah, Casey overcoming it to 2-1.
I think Gotham's been on Fraud Watch. I don't care that they won that trophy.
What even is that trophy?
it'll be a very good tournament in like a few years.
Yeah, right now it's just kind of meh.
It reminds me of like the first few years of the NWSL trophy, like final like, championship. It's just not much.
You're in it. You're gonna play 2 games and maybe win a championship.
Yeah, that's kind of silly to me. But like, I get it. Like, you have to start somewhere. So I'm not gonna be like too angry about it. I get it, but just not a great accomplishment as much as it will be later.
Fair.
Ugh, this game was fucking brutal to watch.
It was. So Orlando versus Houston. And Houston stayed in this game, and it was all because of Abby Smith.
Yeah, balling out.
She was incredible.
Balling out.
She was incredible this match, and I know. I mean, I don't see how anyone starts over her.
I was gonna say Jane
Campbell.
Yeah, she might need to find a new team, which there are plenty of teams that need better goalkeepers. So
absolutely. But she kept them in it for basically the entire game,
for the last 30 seconds.
But in true Pride Month fashion, a Dyke gets the game winner.
Dyke gets the game winner. That's right. Not a Dyke, Corey Dyke.
No, I think she's actually straight. I looked up at her Instagram.
Love that for us, though.
But yeah, it was definitely Abby Smith like dropped to her knees, and I was like, "Girl, you held on for as long as you could."
I also think the whistle maybe could have been blown sooner, but whatever, it happens.
So Bay PDX played.
Yeah,
I just watched the highlights or whatever you want to call those are.
Absolute banger from Melanson, which we love when a former Reign player gets a game winner against Portland. That was
seems to happen
angle.
A lot.
That was a crazy angle she got on that. If you haven't seen that goal for Bay,
it was a crazy angle, but as a goalkeeper, you don't get scored on your post. So,
well, you do if you do this week if you're Portland.
But yeah, it was. I talked to a coworker yesterday. Yesterday? No, today. Today's Monday.
You didn't work yesterday.
No, I didn't.
We usually go hard on Tuesdays, though.
But I was talking to a coworker this morning. We were talking about soccer games from the weekend, and she's like, I watched the Portland game and God, they're boring. And I was like, oh, Coop and I call them boring FC.
I will say that I don't think they've been super boring recently, like before this match. Maybe they I couldn't call them that, but back again.
No, the big goalkeeper played really well too. So
I didn't see this Angel City game.
So Angel City played Chicago. Good on you, Chicago.
Trying
to scrape something back. They tied 2-2.
And there was no listener either.
Nope. The only real notes I took from this was Schlegel hit a banger. A banger. I know we've said that like several times this week.
Was a good week for NWSL.
There were some great goals this weekend.
Yeah.
There was a really interesting no handball penalty review. So the ball, it was really interesting. So it was in Angel City's box. So, and this ball comes in. And 2 players, Emma Vignola and somebody else, but they kind of come together and the ball pops up and it hits Emma Vignola's hand and it's like way up high. And apparently, but it was funny because on the video, you can see the ball hits both players and then it bounces on the ground and then it bounces up and hits her hand. And it's like, okay. I know that it's not a handball if it bounces off her and goes straight to her hand. But does it make a difference if it hits the ground? I guess it does because they said no penalty. But that was kind of disappointing for Chicago. Spirit played North Carolina. That was a 3-1 win for Washington Spirit.
I don't know what's going on with Jaden Shaw. It's not good. I don't know if North Carolina needs to do stuff like get better players in. Because I don't want to see this happen to Jaden Shaw. We all know how good she is and is capable of being. Has me a little worried. There was and they lost, and they didn't even have Ashley Hatch or Trinity Rodman. They're both having back problems now. Ashley Hatch joins the bad back.
Sucks to carry the team.
Club. Yeah, no kidding. Honestly, I mean, I guess not though, because they're up 3. They still got 3 goals without Ashley Hatch.
I know. Casey
Gift Monday.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that first, but
I was like, Gift Monday scores again.
We say it every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a talent, and it's going to be really scary to see where she.
Yeah. I'm getting a little sick of people, like, anytime there's like a hot player on the market, everyone's just like, oh, Spirit's looking to sign her. Just like, the Spirit have enough players, and Michelle King doesn't need more players to sign to Lyon. But, because they were talking about Mia Official, because she might be coming back to, or coming to the NWSL. And I was like, I don't feel like the Spirit need her.
No.
Anyways, Casey Murphy.
Oof. Bit of a struggle this game for her.
Like, you keep saying that every week.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when your defense doesn't really have your back a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, that wraps it up for all the NWSL results this weekend.
USWNT's national team played. That's why we didn't have an episode last week. Victory over China and Jamaica. Most notably, 2 goals for Lynn Biondolo.
As a
in
sub.
one game. Yeah, as a sub. Good old brace. Love that. Looking like vintage Biondolo. The thing that made me upset, though, we didn't get a Claudia Dickey start, which I think, to me, speaks to Emma she's committed to Fallon, Tullis Joyce, which is fine. I'm not upset about that. Fallon's great. She's a great human from everything I can tell, and a great goalkeeper. But what if something happens to Fallon? I think we do need to get some experience in on whoever we decide is going to be the backups.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no national team coach, but these are international friendlies. Especially in that position, I realize that you're trying to decide who you got, but you've literally got Fallon Tullis Joyce on the roster. You've got what's her face, that other player and Claudia Dickey. Fallon's got 3 caps?
Not many.
The other goalkeeper, what the fuck's her name? McGlynn? And then you've got Claudia Dickey on the roster with 0. That just doesn't bode well for the team as in general. So I don't understand why, as a coach, you don't even bring her in for a half. It's not like your goalkeeper's having to do much.
Yeah, we all know that these maybe aren't the best games to like get looks at your goalkeepers anyways, but like they do need to be able to at least feel comfortable in that setting, right?
Yeah, just get your first cap, get it out of the way. Get your, have that so it's no longer your first appearance for the team.
Yeah, the last thing we need is like we're in some sort of tournament and something, hopefully doesn't happen to your starting keeper, and then they're just like, oh, something happened to her. Now you're coming on for the first time ever.
Wasn't that like 2 World Cups ago? The Netherlands goalkeeper got injured in the group stage, and they had to put on a player that had like 1 cap for the rest
Something
of the
like
tournament.
That sounds very familiar. Yeah, and I don't want to be in that situation personally if we don't have to be.
And you don't get a lot of these games, so it makes it a little bit difficult to get those players.
We don't get a lot of these games, but we do have them every so often enough that we should definitely be putting in someone else at some point.
Yeah. Hopefully we see that in the next camp.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it for the non-Rain WOSO talk. Next Rain match that we got coming up, Rain versus... I had to try so hard not to put Chicago Red Stars, but the Chicago Stars.
So
Saturday,
stupid.
so stupid. June 14th, Saturday, 2 p.m. on Ion. This fun game is going to be at Soldier Field too. That's why I'm mad I'm not going to
I forgot to talk about how shitty the field looked in San Diego.
Oh, yeah. It always
I feel like that's just like a given.
Yeah, I had it in my notes, but I was just like, we all know the field is shitty there. So it's just what it is. Chicago's record, 1-8-2. The only win that they've gotten was over Bay FC, and that was the game that Ludmila got a brace.
Yeah, she went ham.
Yeah, I mean, as ham as Chicago can go.
She's good when she gets into area, like if she can be unlocked, she's good.
Yeah.
What do you want to see from this match?
A win, a comfortable win. I don't think that's a big ask. Hopefully. I don't know, but like the Soldier Field thing kind of adds this like element that I'm not sure, like, is this the game that Chicago shows up? I feel like they've proven they're not going to.
I don't know. They also just tied a team that we got slaughtered by.
Okay, well.
So they're not terrible.
We tied Angel City, but that was like early in the season.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of our key starters, our usual key starters, didn't play as many minutes this week.
I'm just saying, I think they're going to, I would hope that the Rain win the match, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as maybe I would have thought it would be a month ago.
We've never had a comfortable win this season.
Yeah, maybe just a wish for a comfortable win would be fine, but I think it's going to be harder than, because Chicago was shit at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're terrible, but
who do you want to see start? What forwards do you want to see start? And what midfield do you want? Like, who are like, because we've got, I guess Meza will definitely be starting, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess my question is, like, do you want to see McCammon? Do you want to see it go back to, like, do you want to see Montesir? Because I think Coco actually had a sneaky good game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Tough question, huh?
I'm trying to think about when I was watching the Chicago game, what I saw. Obviously, you start Meza.
Mm-hmm.
I think having Coco in adds a different element to the game that would be helpful against the Chicago team.
I think you put in Lynn, right?
Put in Lynn.
Adames. I almost want to put Adames off the bench just because she played the full game.
Yeah, I think Adames coming off the bench is fine. I think you give Darlene.
Yeah. And Darlene should have some pretty good support there too, since it's so close to her home.
So I think you do that. I think depending on if James Turner is recovered, you get her back in there. I mean, McCammon played fine, but McCammon was not a part of any goal scoring opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we're going to need to score multiple goals in this game to make it through with a win. So I think you put James Turner back there.
Get the James Turner Meza show back on.
I'm still on the fence about Shea Holmes.
I am too. There was, I will say she seems to be getting herself in some pretty dangerous positions when she gets forward, but she doesn't seem to always have the audacity to try things.
Yeah.
Because there was a early chance, like she was left wide. You saw that chance, right? In the very beginning of the last game, she was left wide.
It was like
open.
almost identical to the goal that she scored.
Yeah. And why did she not fucking shoot it?
I don't know.
That one drove me nuts.
What drove me nuts also above that was the commentary being like, well, she doesn't usually play up here. I'm like, did you not fucking watch the game 2 weeks ago? And that's the exact same goal she scored.
Annoying.
Anyway, it's that kind of thing where you're just like,
Yeah, I feel like they have to be pointing this out when they watch watch back these plays. They have to be seeing like this and Shay and turning to Shay and being like, you gotta shoot there.
Yeah,
like that was crazy how open she was.
Well, and I think it definitely helped that like the angle was like pretty spot on from the camera. So
yeah, I would say I got to see more from Shea Holmes. I'm not as sold as I was on her in the first game for sure.
Yeah, it was like preseason looked good. First game was great, and then it just kind of like has kind of, I wouldn't say slumped. I would just say plateaued.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully they win.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back next week.
Yeah, I'll be recording from Minnesota more than likely, so hopefully everything travels well and does well there. But live from Minnesota, we won't be live. Anyways, thanks again to our sponsor, the Doctor's Office. If you want, you can go follow us as always on social media. We're on Bluesky and Instagram, Cooler Guild Pod.
You can also send us an email. We'd love an email. We haven't gotten an email in a while. We would love one. You can email us at thecoolerguild@gmail.com. You can also visit us at sounderatheart.com/the Cooler Guild.
You probably aren't getting emails because you're not replying to them and everyone's like mad about it.
Fair.
Or they're sad. They're probably sad.
Very fair. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/at the Cooler Guild. We'll have most video episodes up there. Van's audio videos kind of been wonky for this one, so maybe not this one. But we will be working on what's going wrong. Wherever you're listening, please go rate 5 stars. Till next time, I'm Coop.
I'm Van.
Stay cool, y'all.
Stay cool, y'all. Spot, and then I shook my pants out, and it was a beetle. Ugh.
Well,
okay.
We are recording.
Oh, fuck.